Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Kovac Enterprises studio. And as you know, I have been working on the Boeing 720, which was the plane that was modified from the 707 for the exclusive use of some of the rock stars back in the early 1970s, one being Led Zeppelin, and that's the theme we're going to go with for this kit. I got a little bit done so far. It's a little slow process, but let's see what we got going on here, okay? So let's go ahead and start with one half of the fuselage. And basically what I did for all the parts is spray a primary coat of the Folk Art Silver Sterling Metallic, and sprayed it on the styrene with my airbrush. And then once I did that, I used a toothpick and I cut off a 45-degree angle on one end of the toothpicks, and then made up a little satin black watered down wash. And I took the toothpick and dipped it into the panel lines to give it a little bit of some pre-shading, as you can see right here. So there you go. That is that. And of course I did the same thing to the other half of the fuselage. Same thing for the wings. Since these panel lines are grooved inside the mold part there, it was easy to when I watered down the pin wash, that it basically by gravity it kind of went down the lines of the panel lines. So it took a little while, but this is the result that we have. So that's one side of the wing. This is actually the lower half, because basically this is where the two turbine engines go, as you can see. So we did that, and of course we did the same thing to the top portion of the wing. Same thing, pre-shading. So there you go. And like I said, I basically just did the whole plane in the sterling silver first. As far as the turbine engines, we also did this very well with the first laying out the metallic silver, and then we went back with the pre-shading. So this is a complete turbine engine. Kind of turn that around so you can see the inside. It's nicely detailed, but yeah, so there we are. So that's the first installment of the engines themselves. This does have a longer tail on the end of it, so that's like probably the primary turbine engine that goes on first on the wing. And of course it has a duplicate for the port or starboard side. So there you go. And then we've got the second set of turbine engines. As you can tell, this has a shorter tail end here, and it dictates it on the wing, so there's no confusion when you do glue these things onto the wingspan. But of course I did the same thing, basically just airbrushed the sterling silver, and then took the tooth pick and just kind of ran the pin wash down into the groove lines. So there you go. There's that. And then we went ahead and started working on one side of our landing gear. And this is our result. So I got everything kind of painted up with the wheels and the landing gear itself. Now the part you see right here, that's kind of bent in two different places. It actually, on the sprue tree, it actually comes flat, and the instructions tell you to bend the top and the bottom portion and then install it onto the landing gear struts themselves. So there you go. But this is for the these wheels actually have 4 wheels on it, which dictates it goes underneath the wingspan itself. Underneath the cockpit in the front of the plane, it's basically only 2 wheels. So that is done. And speaking of the front wheels, we basically have this guy right here. Hopefully you can see that. So that is done as well. Alright. So like I said, this is basically where we're at right now. Had a lot of things I had to do this week, so I can only work on this for a short period of time. But stand by, I have one more thing to show you. So bear with me. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. And as you can see in front of you, I'm going to attempt to light this kit up. As you can tell, I got one of the wings temporarily mocked up, which is the port side wing. And just kind of go over to you real quickly. You can see how thin these wings are. Now this is the bottom part of the wing, and there's virtually on the very tips, there's actually, you can see how thin that is. Alright. As far as the upper part of the wing, just kind of show you an example. Hopefully this one's still on the sprue tree, but there's a little bit of some meat on the very end of the wing tip itself. So what I ended up doing, we'll kind of turn this thing around a little bit, is I used basically 2 items to start off this little project of lighting the port side wing with the navigation lights. And I basically, let me put this in here, I used that with a big lighter, lit up the end and heated up real hot, and then I basically inserted it into the point of origin where I wanted to go, and it kind of went right through like butter. Once I did that, I took a 1mm drill bit. Let me get this in focus here, and I just cleaned up the hole a little bit. So that's my 1mm drill bit. Once that was done, I actually used for this particular kit our 0402 red SMD, and because I just wanted to make sure I got to scale, so it doesn't look too big, since this is a 1 to 144 ratio scale. And of course then I fed the wires through the wingspan, and if we turn this around like so, let me see if I can get something here for you. And I basically drilled a hole on the other side of the fuselage to feed the 2 SMD wires through. And so when that was done, I basically then used Ralph's from Tenant Controls generic airplane lighting kit, where we have our circuit board with the LED wires coming out. And as far as the instructions are concerned, for the port side navigation light, it's for the yellow wire, and the black wire is your kind of your ground wire. So I went ahead and attached the 2 wires together. I went ahead and put the 9-volt battery in, and then let me kind of center just a little bit, and we'll show you what we got. And we'll go ahead and turn her on, and hopefully we'll bring this down here. We'll turn off the light a little bit here, and as you can see, we have our port side navigation light shining through the outside of the wingtip. So I think that looks pretty good. and I will be going ahead and doing the rest of the lighting on the starboard side, and then I will go ahead and light up the tail probe light on the end, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm just kind of going by the the cuff and just seeing what I'm getting as a result as I'm building this thing up, because I want to make it as authentic as possible. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and send this back in place, and until next time, we will have another update, and until then, I hope everybody has a good day. And just a side note to all the mothers out there, I want to wish every mother a happy Mother's Day, and we'll see you next time. So until then, have a good day. Bye.